Hi, guys. This is Nadine with Keep Hope Alive podcast and Party Time podcast. We are here with Beth Reynolds, and she is the owner of Control V Arcade. I like that. So, just like hitting a little button, Control V. I thought that was paste or something, but what do I know?
It
Or is it coffee? It is
It's
paste.
paste. It is
It
paste.
is. So you're pasting yourself into the arcade. That is very clever. I love that. Story goes back. I had to make a phone call because I wanted to come and visit her through the company I work for. And I finally got there, right? It took about a month, but I got there.
Right, right.
Because you guys were right around the corner for where I usually go. And, it's like I walked in and it was beautiful, guys. I mean, this concept of what they do in Plano, Texas, I'm going to let her tell you. But, anyways, I need to start off with asking how many special events or more likely weddings have you been to in the last 10 years?
Oh, 10 years? A lot. I
A lot.
think the most recent one I went to was October of 2022. I had a cousin get married.
Yeah.
And so my husband and I, we went to New Orleans and got to see her married in St. Anthony of Padua's church. So it was really very nice.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is so cool. Have you ever heard of the company yet? Lifeonrecord.com. I
I'm
always
sorry,
say
I'm
.com.
not familiar with it.
Well, like when you go to weddings, you usually go into the ceremony site and they have a guest book there that you can sign your name and, that tells the bride and groom who came to their event. Well, they decided to do something more clever and they have a rotary vintage phone they put there. So your guest can come up to this phone and pick it up and leave a message. It could be for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you would like. And then they have a QR code right next to it so people can get their cell phones and just use the little camera thing to click on that yellow button. I'm still learning that with all the new technology out here. And you can do calls during or after or on the way home and leave a message for the couple. So what it does, it goes into their software, your message, and they burn it on this 12-inch vinyl record. Or they have this cute little boom box and you can pull that out and listen to voices. For me, I love hearing people's voice. I mean, there's something about it that is just more soothing and calm, and you can laugh harder at it. I mean, no offense, guest book people, but you're reading a name. So, but we're happy you're around. But the vintage phones, by far. So you can find, and you know what? Plans are only $99 and you get that phone number for 1 year, which is awesome. So even if you're getting close to the anniversary date, I bet you can still call and leave messages and they'll add it on. I bet you they will. But find them at www.lifeonrecord.com. All right. So Beth. I'm so happy to have you on today. So, um, I guess it was back in what, 2021, you and your husband were trying to make some decisions on what you guys were going to do.
Right. So we both had corporate jobs and he still has his, but we decided we wanted to do something different. And there were a few things I was pretty sure about. One is that I wanted to do something fun. So it was definitely going to be in the entertainment field.
Mhm.
And then also I kind of wanted to be my own boss. I'm a big believer in that you have to shape your own destiny. And just working at these lifelong corporate jobs that I've had for quite a while, I could leave that job and get something else, but it would just be more of the same. So I was trying
Yeah.
to do something different. So we met with a franchise consultant who pitched 9 different brands to us. And we both immediately fell in love with this brand. The vibe was perfect. It was fun. And I think what I like most about it is that it brings experiences to people that they couldn't get in real life. So it's kind of an experience that you really, really have, a
That is
meaningful connection with. So I think
that
that's what
is
I like
so
about it most.
cool. So, like, walk us into your
Oh,
journey. So, Meaning, okay, so they pitched the idea to you guys, and then how long did it take to get it all sorted out, created, ready to open the doors?
I think it started around March of 2021. And basically they actually pitched 9 different brands to us. So some of those they wanted us to consider, which we did. So
Hmm.
we started a process of meeting with these brands regularly, and they took us through their setup, their how things work, the expectations, the investment needed, et cetera. And we each had a brand that we liked that the other person didn't like or not or wasn't having a connection with, and then we both liked this brand. So the other 2 brands kind of tapered off pretty quickly because this one was really the significant forerunner. So like we both really liked it. So it made it that much easier to move forward. And then what we'd do is we would meet regularly. They would walk us through the process. They told us how they got started, what was expected, what kind of steps we'd have to take, and what the timeline would be. And so we actually traveled to Canada in, I think, September of 2021. And that's when we signed the franchise agreement. And
Yay.
then from that moment, yeah, we started making the purchases needed and getting our ducks in a row. And they actually have a very thorough process. Like everything is planned out. So they told us exactly when certain steps would need to be completed so everything could happen on time. And that's what they did. So they walked us through that. And then we got everything up and running. We found the place that we wanted. And then we basically just had to wait for the landlord to finish building the walls. There were no walls on the inside. And then after that, we were able to get our contractor in there and build it to suit our equipment and what we needed. So it was it was probably about a year, well, under a year, because we opened July 30th of 2022. And I think we signed the franchise agreement in September of 2021. So it took a while because the landlord wasn't finished with their piece until March of 2022. So from March until July, we had time to get everything we needed done. So
So you guys were both working at another job, I guess, while
we were
this was going through.
we were, but I quit that job on December 31st of 2021. So starting
So that's
2022, this is my entire
new.
investment. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it's always fun to have a job that you're so happy and passionate about. And I love hearing that you guys just knew that this was the one for you,
This is the one.
because that process for you guys made it so much easier. And
Right.
you see, you're smiling so big. I mean, I know coming into your, place that you have, you're going to be greeting the guest very
Right.
well. And that energy is there. So you want to show them exactly that, hey, I got this, and you're going to have a good time, and there's options. And um, walk us through the design, like when you
Okay.
walk right through the door, what does it look like?
Okay, so when you walk in, the first thing you see is the reception desk. So when we have our customers come in, we do check them in and then make sure that they have a waiver on file. And then once that's completed, we show them an explainer video. And the explainer video is all the way in the back of the arcade because we use a projector to show it on the wall.
Okay.
So you see the reception desk first where you check in, and then you walk through the arcade, which has 13 stations. So each station is a playing space for one individual. So it has 3 walls. 2 of them are, padded with foam. And then each person will use a headset and 2 controllers to operate the equipment.
That's
So
cool.
once they see the explainer video, they go to the station. And each station has a monitor on it. So you can see what the customer sees once they're in the headset. So they'll see
Oh,
their name on that monitor and they know that that's the station for them. And then we help them get set up, and then they get in there and they access the game catalog, and then they can play whatever they want. So
oh my gosh. So you can play more than one game in there, correct?
right, you're not locked
That's
into any experience. You're actually purchasing the time, and then that time you can play whatever you want. So for instance, we do have virtual reality escape rooms. So if someone wants to do an escape room, we recommend they start with the escape room because it can take the whole hour. But if they were to start something else and decide they want to do the escape room, they might be 30 minutes in before they made that decision. And if they get into an escape room that has a lot of steps, they may not have enough time to complete it. So we try to get them to start off with that so that they
yeah.
do have a better chance at finishing the puzzles before they move on to something else.
Now, if
So,
they wanted to stay an extra hour and continue playing, they can.
oh right, yeah, they can tell us they want to book for another hour, and we'll just ring them up for that second hour when they're done.
That's
So
good. That's
yeah.
good. Because they're too excited. They probably, can I do again? Can I do again? I can see that happening all the time. But I know my son wants to be there and try it out. I know he wanted to bring his friend and everything. So we're going to be making a trip maybe before Christmas or maybe after. I don't know yet. I'm still planning
That
that
would
in
be
my head.
awesome, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, what kind of games besides escape room do you have?
So we have a lot of zombie shooting. I know people like to shoot zombies. So we have a lot of zombie shooting. We also have cooking. We have more than one cooking game where you're like a short order cook. You get the customer's request, and then you have to assemble it and cook it, assemble it, and serve it to the customer.
Do you run
Um,
out of breath? I mean, are you
oh,
actually working?
you're well, yeah. It's not spoofy, but it's not hardcore either. Like you have your ingredients and you see the instructions and you're like, okay, so they want a sandwich. So I get my bun out first, and then
Yeah,
I cook my meat and I put my meat on my sandwich and so
yeah.
on. So it's real cute. And we have two cooking games like that, and both of them are multiplayer. So you can actually play against someone, see who can get their
Oh,
sandwiches
cool.
assembled. Yeah. One of them's more competitive where you're competing against each other, and the other one you have to work together. So one person might have the cheese and they have to slice up their cheese and get it on the sandwich. And you might have the lettuce or whatever, but you work together. And then when you complete your sandwich, you put it in the middle and it gets served to the customer.
Wait,
So,
okay, walk me through this. I sound so stupid, but okay. So they're in two different rooms, but if they have to walk to each other, it's not like the other one comes to the room where the other one's standing to get the cheese.
oh, no, no, no. So even
Okay.
though you're in your own individual playing space, if you go into a multiplayer game, when you get into that game, the other person's avatar is in the game with you. And
Okay.
depending on the game, well, you use the controller to move around, but depending on the game, the buttons might be different as to what buttons move you around in the game, but you can get close to your friend or far away because you're in this simulated game, this 3D simulated environment. So you can move around in that environment, but you're just physically in your own playing space, so you don't bump into anyone.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
yeah, it's super cool. Like when you get into it, your friend will have their name above their avatar, so you know it's them, but you can hear them speaking anyway.
So can you get in a food fight?
Yeah, you can actually. I've seen quite a few food
Oh my
fights.
gosh, I was just
Yeah,
kidding. I
yeah,
was like, are you being timed? Do you know run and make this, or can you throw a piece of meat at
you
somebody?
can. I've seen people take the ketchup and squirt other people and stuff in the game. Yeah,
Oh,
it's very for not it. I know it's not real, but it is extremely realistic, like in terms of what you can do and what
yeah.
the environment looks like. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
That is so crazy how technology has just advanced so much. I know just when I go to Pinstack sometimes, it hurts my back so bad this game, but I'll still do it. But it's like you're on a dune buggy thing, roller coaster thing, and you're going all through and it shakes you. And I'm like, wow, my neck, my back, I can't walk, but that was fun. And then I tried a virtual game before it, and it was around Easter time, and it was like a rabbit or something, and I
Oh,
had to pull
okay.
carrots. So I did try that one, but I don't know if I was like, I don't want to do that. So, okay. So cooking, what else do you have? I'm so excited.
Oh, so another one, this one is very, very popular, is boxing. We have two different games where you can box, and no matter how subdued that person looks, when they get in there, they will box like nobody's business. They get in there and they just give it all they've got. So even though you're in separate playing
Yeah.
spaces, when you get in the game, you're in the
Mhm.
game together. So the other person's avatar is right there, and you box each other.
I keep thinking of Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
And you can pick your avatar. So like Creed, for instance, that's one of the boxing games. You can pick your avatar, you can pick your arena, and depending on which character you pick, you might have
Yeah.
some advantages depending on who you pick to be in the game. But
Like a
it's very
super.
realistic looking. The
Cool.
characters very buff. They have big muscles.
But isn't it kind of like they fall down and come back up? Just like, I think that was Mike Tyson's. They would fall down. You think you got them good, but is that how it is? Or,
So when they get knocked out, the other person has to do this motion where they swing their arms super fast to get back in their body. And if they get back in their body, they can get back up. But after a while, your arms get tired and it gets harder and harder to get back up. But some people are pretty good at it. They
the
can
kids
really,
have kids
work
are
it.
getting exercise. I like that. I bet they're even tired by the end of playing. Like, oh, that was fun. Sleep in the car. I just snorted. I was like, sleep in the car. But yeah, so do you have sport games besides boxing, like soccer,
Yeah.
football, basketball?
Yes, so we have a game called All-in-One Sports, and once you get into the game, there's like a lobby, and you pick the sport you want to do. So there's tennis, there's ping pong, there's badminton, there's bowling, there's
Okay.
darts, there's billiards. They also have baseball, boxing, and golf. So there's quite a few things you can choose from once you get in the game.
But no
And then
football. No kidding.
no football, no football, and then
No cornhole. I want cornhole and football.
no cornhole either. But they do have a separate game called Jetpack Stadium, which is like soccer. So that's a multiplayer game, and you each load in, and you're on a you try to, depending on how many people load into the game, it'll divide you up evenly. Like if you have 3 people in the game, obviously 2 people are on one team and one is on the other. But you have this huge soccer ball and it bounces around a lot. And you have to try really hard to get it to the other end to get the
Nice.
goal. It's super cute though. It's a huge soccer ball, and like when you tap it, it bounces all over. It doesn't exactly go just straight in each time. You have to really work hard at getting it in there.
Oh, that is so cool. I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to do that. Ping pong. I mean, I was really playing ping pong about a month ago, and I didn't do good. I noticed like I'll do it right, and then I'll be like, wham! But I think that's the way I grew up, though, having a brother. I think we were taking pegs at each other, like trying to hit each other instead, like we would get a point. That's cool. That's really cool. I know I'm a board game fan. Is there anything like a board game?
Yes. Yes. So we also have another game called Demio, and it's kind of like tabletop role playing in a sense that you're above the board and you make decisions and your character moves around on the board. It's pretty interactive, and so it's really a multiplayer game. You can get
Yeah.
on it, but by yourself, but I think you would need to join a game that's being
Another.
played online. But otherwise, you would import with your friends and you would both get in there and you roll your dice and your card comes up and you make decisions and you move your character around on the board. But it's really neat because you're above the board and the board is 3D, so you're moving stuff around.
That
And
is so cool.
yeah, it
Sounds
really
like
is super
chess
cool.
or checkers to me. That's what it
Oh,
sounds like.
yeah.
So, oh my goodness. Okay. Tell me more. I'm like a
Okay,
little kid.
okay.
Tell me
So,
more. Tell me
okay,
more
that's okay. I've got
about
plenty
the
more.
game.
So, we also have exploratory games. Well, it's not so much a game where there's an objective, but just an environment that you would explore. So, for instance, we have a game called Nature Treks. When you load into the game, you're given a choice of a different environment to explore. So, like one environment might be the forest, another one might be the desert, there might be another one for underwater. And the one that I like the most is the one that's dinosaurs. So when you pick that environment, you go into it and you're actually roaming the earth with dinosaurs. Now, they're not out to get you, they're peaceful dinosaurs.
Oh, okay. I was like,
But yeah,
that's gonna give me a panic attack or something. I was like, I'm scared even to walk in the ocean these days. I don't want to know what I'm walking into. That's why I go to Galveston. When I was
and
in
you can
Florida,
go,
I saw a jellyfish up front, and I was like, oh no, I'm not getting in that water.
you can get really close to the dinosaurs, like and you can enter the water, like some of them are in the water and you can get real close, and um it's really realistic looking. Like when you get there, the dinosaur's huge and they're moving around, and you can explore the environment. You can stick around and see those, or go up on the grass and maybe find some other dinosaurs in another area, a different type of dinosaur, but you get to explore. So there's no objective, like you're not trying to,
Yeah.
shoot something, or, have an objective that you're
Yeah. The
looking at.
underwater one, I would want to probably try, but I'm scared to see a shark or something and be like,
Oh,
I'm going the other way. I don't want to see that. But that is so cool. So, I mean, I think you said what, 13 rooms?
right. So we have 13 stations. And so that means we can host up to 13 players at one time, because each player has their own playing space. And so once they get in the gear, they have access to the game catalog, but they're also in what's called our control room. So in the control room, they can see avatars for anybody else that's in the same group as them, and they have voice chat. So they can talk and, discuss what they want to do. A lot of people like to dance when they get in there. They because it's funny, right? Your avatar is dancing. And then they usually decide, well, I want to play this game. Do you want to join me? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Or why don't you play that? I'm going to play this. And then, they explore on their own. So
Yeah.
it's a
That's
lot of fun.
cool. That is so cool. So, I mean, if you're having a birthday party, can they just rent out the whole place because they need all those rooms? I mean,
Yeah. So they can rent out, what they would do is they would go online and book all 13 stations. And then
mhm.
if they wanted to rent the party room, they would book that as well. But the party room they would use after they play. So they would play
Yeah.
for 1 hour, and then for 40 minutes they would go in the party room. And usually people tend to spend 30 to 40 minutes in the party room, because they usually just use it to uh, eat,
Yeah.
and then cut the cake, open gifts, and then they're usually just ready to go home at that point. But
Nice.
plus they're kind of petered out a little bit. They just, spent an hour boxing someone, or or
That
shooting
is so
something.
awesome. I run a group of event planners, and I was like, we need to come there and just
Oh,
experience it so we can give you more business. I think, I'm glad that you said that they can book it online, sign their waivers. I'm trying to think what else they would need, because I think of those places like we signed, what is it called? Urban Air. Yeah. Oh, you
yeah.
have to have their special socks on and everything. Do
Oh,
you guys sell merchandise there too with
um,
your
our
logo?
our location doesn't really have merchandise. We do ask people to take their shoes off, but
Yeah.
if they don't want to take their shoes off, I just let them leave their shoes on, because a lot of times people do come and they, for whatever reason, they just don't have socks. So if they prefer to keep their shoes on instead of going barefoot, I tell them they can, because we clean
Yeah.
the mats anyway. So I let them do that if that's what they're more comfortable.
That is so cool. Okay, so the party room, how many kids could it actually
Uh,
hold?
so it has 5 tables, but 3 of the tables have chairs, so it seats 18 people.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, so that's 3 tables for sitting and eating, and then there's usually 2 other tables. One, usually people typically order pizza, so they'll put the pizza on one table, and then the other table will have the cake. And then sometimes people bring party favors. They have small
Yeah.
bags of party favors, and they'll put that on the same table with the
Okay.
cake. They'll hand those
So
out
do
as
you
they're
guys
coming.
make the food or is it ordered in?
No, typically people either bring their own food or they order it. But when they order, they almost always order pizza, because it's just
Yeah.
very easy. You can feed a large crowd with pizza.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And those kids, 2 pieces done. So on a football team, hey, 3 or 4. I was like, oh my gosh, that gets expensive.
Yeah.
So I went to go look for my son's football team, and I decided, oh, cookies are going to be better. Actually, not. A cake would have been better, but they like stuff on the run because they want to continue playing, not sitting there and enjoying that anymore. So, but you learn as you go, definitely. So, are you guys, what days are you open and closed if somebody wanted to go there?
Yeah, so we're open every day of the week except Mondays. Mondays is the only day we're closed. And on Tuesday through Friday, we're open from 3:30, and then our last session ends at 9:30. But if the last we would be able to take someone would be around 8 o'clock, because we would ask them to fill out the waiver, watch the video, and they would get started at 8:20. So that means they would be finishing around 9:20. And
Yeah,
then
definitely.
for Saturday and Sunday, we open at 11.
Hmm.
Saturday, our last session ends at 10:30. So last person we would take would come in around 9 o'clock, 9:10, so
Yeah.
to speak, and then start at 9:30. And then on Saturday, I'm sorry, on Sundays, our last session starts at 6 p.m. So they would finish around 7. So they want to come
Wow.
in around 5:45 or 5:40, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember talking on the phone. You're like, we're open at night too. I was like, you are?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you're giving me a lot of options here. So, but I mean, I'm just going to tell people when I walked in, it was amazing. I mean, there was this high energy. It brought me to feel like I was a kid again because I see the blue lights that you have around each like cube thing that you have. You guys were right there on the queue to welcome me in. And, I was like, but it was funny. My head kept going, I want to see to the right. What is this? I want to learn about this. It was so fun. It was intriguing. It's a great thing for a birthday party. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if a boy, girl, I mean, it's fun for adults too. So,
Right. Right.
so talking about adults, have you had anybody yet try to book it out for like a bachelor party or
We
anything
did
like
have
that?
we did have one bachelor party. Excuse me, sorry about that.
It's all right.
We also had a theme party where so one of our virtual reality escape rooms is called Alice. It's a lot like Alice in Wonderland, where you
Cool.
step into the storybook and you complete puzzles to defeat the Queen
Yeah.
of Hearts. So we had one group come in and they were all dressed in their Alice in Wonderland costumes. So they did that game together and then they escaped. They got out just in the nick of time and then they took a picture of them in
Oh
their costumes, as because we
gosh.
have slides that we put behind people that say we escaped when they escaped. So they took a picture with that and it was
Oh,
really nice. Yeah.
nice. Nice. I'm a photographer, so I was like, that's the
It was super
perfect
cute. Yeah.
setting. Did they give you a picture to use or
I
anything?
didn't get a picture. Unfortunately, I hadn't come in yet. That was before my shift started. So the customer took a picture, but I don't have a copy of it, unfortunately.
Oh,
But
customer, if you're
I
listening,
know.
shoot that copy.
Send it to me. We also have haunted houses, and I find people like to do haunted houses together. And
Wow.
so a lot of times you'll hear people play that game and you'll hear like this blood curdling scream, and you'll just know, oh,
Is
they're
it from
playing
the
haunted house.
customer or
It's
on
from
the
the
game?
customer. It's from the customer.
Yeah, I'm skipping that one. Thank you for telling me
It's
about
very,
that.
it's very realistic.
I was like, shooting the mummies sounds like the apocalypse kind of to me. I can see my son and his friends. I don't know, like I'm learning, but when I get home and I'm getting ready for bed, I'll put my AirPods on, and my son has it hooked up to all the kids playing the video games. Come over there, blah, 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 blah. Just like, oh my gosh. But my son is getting, oh, my mom has the AirPods on. So he turns it off really quick and I reset. But I was like, it's kind of interesting to see how involved those kids are working together to get a mission done. I remember when there was no video games and I was outside making a fort, somewhere to stay, or planning a concert, and we built a stage in the front yard and invited all the neighbors to come. So it was the little things like that. And soon as, well, Atari was out, that we didn't play much. Nintendo came out, and then we were inside all the time because you had to save the princess.
Right, 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 right. Well, of course.
But yeah, and then it was just like the video games. I still liked board games, so I was like, let's play Clue, let's play Cranium. Some other Balderdash was another one I liked. I was just like showing the creativity, and that's what I liked about everything. But if the kids are dressing up like the theme, like Alice in Wonderland, do you say these are the games we have, and if you want to do a theme party, you might want to dress this way, or usually you would
Yeah,
probably say what's comfortable, but if they want to dress up and have fun with it, that's amazing.
absolutely. Yeah, I
So
agree.
I guess the bakers, I know they bring all of their food, but in the Plano area, do you have a selected vendors that you guys already use or?
Um, we have one pizza place that said if we contact him and let him know that the pizza is for here and ask for him specifically, he'll take 20% off for our customers. And so he's been very good about that. But
Yeah,
usually people make their own plans, but anytime they ask me, I certainly tell them about him, and then
yeah,
they'll most likely order from him. But I've had a few people that just they prefer some other brand of pizza, or they just maybe brought their own food. So
yeah, definitely. So that sounds good. I'm just trying to drive around with my eyes and what's over there, so they can come and decorate with balloons in there and stuff, for the party rooms. So that's good. So it sounds like your journey is going well. I mean,
yes, I
very
enjoy it a
well.
lot. I enjoy it a lot. I like to have fun. It's kind
Yeah.
of my personality, but watching other people have fun is fun too. So we get a kick out of watching the people play the games, and giving them hints like, why don't with the haunted house, why don't you go through that door? Or or we have this game where you walk the plank, you literally take an elevator up to the top floor, and when the doors open, it's just a plank. You're on a skyscraper and you just walk out there on a plank. So like we get a kick out
My
of seeing
eyes got
people.
big, like, hey, let's go walk the plank. I'm thinking of
Yeah.
Goonies all of a sudden. But oh my gosh, does it feel like you're really on the board?
Does Yeah, it does feel real. You know it's not real, but you can't help but respond like it's real. And when you if you step off the plank, it'll simulate like you're falling, and it's pretty realistic. I mean, you're
Oh
falling
my
and you're
gosh, let's
fast.
go.
But a lot of people like to watch their friend do it. They'll be like, "Go ahead, step off that plank, step on." And they're like, "Well, I'm not doing that," or whatever. But it's really funny. It's
Oh
very
my gosh.
spooky, but
I've
it's wonderful.
always wanted to know what it was like to feel snow skiing because I thought I'd be that person who would roll down the hill instead of turn
Yes,
into a big snowball.
yes.
But yeah. So I guess, do they come out with new games every year or how does that work?
Typically, we get one new game a month, but this particular month we're getting 10 games, and that's because I requested some games that were in the library before we opened our location, but I
Hmm.
just hadn't received yet. And I made it a point to pick out some multiplayer games because I find people really do love to play together. So
Yeah.
one of the games we're getting is a game where you're on a space station and you have to figure out how to keep that space station from crashing into Earth because its orbit's about to decay. So you have to work together as a team and figure out exactly what
Oh,
steps to
wow.
do. But it simulates weightlessness. You're floating around in the game, and you just like in real space where you'd hold on to the handles on the inside of the ship. It has that, and you use that to maybe climb up something or look around. But
Yeah.
that's one we're getting, and then we also have another one where you're on a spaceship and it needs repairs, and you have to be able to get back home, I believe. So
Wait,
you
you
work
have to
together.
work? I was
Yeah,
like, you have to work?
you have to figure some things out to get that spaceship back home. Excuse me. And then we have another one that's another zombie shooter game, but it's a little bit more sophisticated. And then we have another one that's kind of like a military game, like a strategic military type game. One of my staff member is really looking forward to this game because he wants to fly a helicopter. So
Oh, that
yeah,
is
that's yeah.
cool.
So
I think I know my son's best friend would probably want to play that one. Really.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
And then we have some kids games. We're getting one of them is called Flappy Flappy, where you literally flap your arms and fly like a bird. And
yeah,
then
I want to do that one.
it's cute. I did it the other day. My arms were tired afterwards, but it was super cute. And then we're getting another one where it's called Just in Time. It's really a cute game because you're an insurance agent and your job is to keep your client from getting killed because you don't want to pay out that claim, right? So you have to go through these different scenarios to rescue your client. So for instance, one client, oh, and they're in slow motion, but you can move quickly. So like you see your customer walking and someone coming up to him with a knife, getting ready to mug him, and you have to stop that mugging because you don't want your client to get hurt. Or there was another scenario
Can
where
you get her in it? Like, can that guy
uh,
turn around?
you it'll say mission failed, and then you can start over if you want. But I don't think anything actually happens to you, the player. But
Okay.
um, they have another scenario where your customer's trapped in a building and it's on fire. So you have to get that trampoline next to the window before he jumps. And they're in slow motion. So you have a little bit to work with to figure out what to do, how to get that trampoline over there before he hits the bottom to save him. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
really funny.
It's funny. I was like,
It
what if
really
he
is.
doesn't hit the trampoline? What if they don't get it there in time? What happens?
Uh, then your client doesn't make it. And then
Yeah.
I usually just restart it and try it again until I get it. It says
Yes.
mission failed, like,
Yeah.
you didn't get the job done. You have to start it over.
But it challenges the brain. I mean, to do all of these problem solving skills, which is so good for kids, and maybe us adults need refreshers at times.
Right?
But I mean, I'm gonna go back to the bird one. Do you flap the whole time?
Yeah. So you're supposed to fly in between these two objects. It's like, for lack of a better word, it looks like a big pipe, and
Yeah.
then the pipe does not meet up with the other part of the pipe. The pipe, there's a big gap. So you're flying, but you can't fly too high because you don't want to hit the upper pipe or the lower pipe. So you have to flap your arms the right amounts. Like big
Oh,
flaps
okay.
get you higher, little flaps get you lower. So I did it a few times, and I did hit the top of the thing a couple of times because I was flapping too much, but you get the hang of it after a while already.
Like, hey, I have practice. I'm a Philadelphia Eagle fan, but I would probably like I would run into things or something.
When you get in the game, your arms are wings. So like when you look at your arms, you have two wings.
Feathers,
Yeah,
just
and you
like
flap around.
oh my gosh. I thought it was just fun to go next door to you and watch people sing karaoke. They're not bad, they're good singers, but it's kind of fun to sit there and people watch and everything. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm gonna really start coming because I know I want to do the bird one. I know I want to do ping pong. So I'm gonna want to. I don't know about escape room though. That freaks me out, and I know I have a friend who likes escape rooms, so maybe they'll go or something. I don't know, but definitely. So, but oh my gosh, I'm grateful you guys opened your doors and they're in Plano, Texas. But you know what? If it's a franchise, do you know the other states?
Yes. So there is only one other one in the United States. It's in Bear, Delaware.
Oh
And then
wow.
the rest are in Canada. So we're the first one in Texas. So I kind of like that. I like that it's new and innovative, and I also like that we're the first one to open in Texas. But they're definitely interested in opening more franchises. So if you know someone that's interested, they can always contact headquarters, and they'll take them through the process and tell them what's involved. But
Oh,
I think it's a great way to have an adventure um, that's suited for you. So like for instance, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. So obviously I didn't go to school to learn to be a pilot or anything like that. That would get me into an
yeah.
astronaut program, but I can pull up one of these games and be in outer space and have fun with it and then just come back to my regular life. Right?
I mean, I think about little girls. I want to be a fairy. I want to be a fashion doc, or they like the vet stuff. Like I want to be a doctor and take care of all these dogs and cats. Mm.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, those are fun ideas, creative minds and stuff, and having all that together. I'm not. Are your rates online at least?
Oh, yeah. So for one person for 1 hour, it's $29.99 plus tax. And like I said, they're not locked into any one experience. They can go back to the game menu
Yep.
and try it as many games as they wish. And then the more stations you book for the same time slot,
Yeah.
you start to get a price break after you book 4 stations or more. So if you book 4 stations or more, you're going to get $1 off each station. And then it increases. If you book 8 stations or more, you're going to get $2 off, and so on. So you do get a bit of a break if you're doing a group, but it depends on how many people will be in the group. So
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Those are good prices too. So yeah,
yeah.
definitely. I'm gonna be here. So I'm here looking for myself. I'm like, I'm ready to go. So, but oh my gosh, I want to thank you for coming on the show, and we covered everything, right? No, we didn't. What
Oh
are
well.
your socials? I mean, your
Oh
website, where can they contact you? I know I'm putting it online for you, but this is
yeah.
your time to shine.
Yeah. Oh, I did want to mention this. I forgot to tell you this earlier. We also do have some educational software. So, for instance, we have a whole catalog of lessons from a company called Victory XR. So, for instance, one of the lessons, if you would select this lesson, would be you can dissect a frog virtually. So, like you can learn things that that might not appeal to you, but they have other stuff too. So, like they do have stuff you can learn to do virtually that you may not do in real life.
Like,
So,
give me another example.
like it'll take you to maybe some ancient ruins. Maybe you wouldn't travel there on your own, but you could do it virtually and take a tour of it
Oh, that is really
about it.
cool.
Yeah,
That-
and then I don't have this game anymore only because the licensing expired. But you used to be able to do surgery on someone, and it's a little spoofy, but you could you could do surgery on someone,
You
and
actually see the body parts?
yeah, it's a little spoofy. It's kind of like
Oh,
remember the Operation. It's not.
oh yeah.
It's a little more more along those lines. But they
Yeah,
have other stuff
okay.
too. They have other stuff too. So then we have another company called Virtual Classroom where you can manipulate the periodic table. Like you can take some stuff and you can manipulate it, and it actually does require a teacher. But if someone was interested, we could get a teacher to do it with them, and you could learn how to manipulate the items on the periodic table. And then we also have this other game called the human anatomy. You travel through the human anatomy. So you might start off at one spot and there's this little robot, and the robot tells you where you are in the human body and where you're going and what you're traveling through and what this part of the body does and so forth.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
yeah,
Kind
so
of.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, kind of.
And then
Um,
they have something called Universe Sandbox where you're actually in outer space and the tutorial takes you through everything, tells you what you're looking at. Um, what is this constellation? And then you also have the ability to manipulate the solar system. So you can, for instance, you can add planets, take planets away. Um, you can change the temperature of a planet and
yeah.
see the effect that it has and stuff like that. So it's really neat. You're starting off in the solar system and then you can manipulate your environment if you wish to. So
Gotcha.
yeah, it's really super cool.
I know what I was going to ask
Cool.
you. When the parents come in with their kiddos, is there a place for the parents to sit
Oh,
while
yes.
their kids are playing?
Yeah, so we do have seating. We have a couple of ottomans that they can sit on, but we also have some rolling chairs, like desk chairs,
Okay.
and we let them move them around so they can position it where they want, and they can watch their child, and they can also see what their child's doing on the monitor. So they'll see what the child sees.
Oh, that's fun. That's
It's
so
really
fun.
cute.
That's good. I got tricked into, where was it? Urban Air again. Oh, a massage chair. And I was hitting for like a 5 minute, and it was taking my credit card, and it said 25 minutes. And I'm like, uh-oh. I was like, I just sat there for 25 minutes. I can't get up, son. I paid for this already. But I meant to be 5 minutes only.
Oh my gosh, that's
So
awesome.
I was like, no, I don't go on their massaging chairs anymore. So I know. You see, I have bloopers too. So I think it's just the weather. It's getting cold and hot, and Texas is just weird that way. So, but other than that, I also, okay, so your website is,
It's controlvarcade.com, and control is spelled just like the control key on your keyboard. It's CTRL. So the website is CTRLVARCADE.com.
okay, perfect. And then we'll put all your, also your phone number, your email, and your Instagram, whatever else you guys are on. I know you have a Facebook page and a YouTube page too, which is really cool that they can watch it and everything. Thank you so much. I'm so happy.
Well, thank you
I
for
felt
having me.
like
I've
a kid
enjoyed
on
meeting
this
with you.
show. It's just like my inner child coming out. I'm like ready to go play. I want to thank our other sponsors too that make Keep Hope Alive podcast a thing. So we have a fun time here. So of course, liveonrecord.com. They, of course, are the interactive guest book. And just a reminder, like I used their service when we had a football injury. The kids called in to say, I'm so sorry you got hurt. I hope you have a quick recovery. So I have those and I can send them to him. So right now we only have four, so I was waiting for a little bit more, but I think the four is gonna have to do. So, but it's a great concept. Bridal Shows Inc. So if you are in the Dallas market and you are looking for planning a party or corporate event or even bridal show or a wedding, sorry, you can go and see. I think they do 4 or 5 shows out of the year, and you can meet your vendors and they can share the information, their pricing and stuff with you. Then we have Party Time Texas, your one-stop shop for all your party planning needs, whether you need a DJ, a band, character, a venue like hers, like arcades, a juggler, a robot dancer. We got it all. I said, we, yes, I work there. So that is www.partytimetexas spelled out.com. Then we have Miles and Smiles. She is wonderful. It's deborahrose.com, but she does handwriting analysis and lipstick reading. So she's good, like really good, but she thinks outside of the box of how she can put these fun things into different events to get everybody interacting. So check her out if you ever need somebody. Um, right now, our next one is Bryce Harney, who's been all over the news and being the best magician and best mentalist reader. He is one of a kind. You can find him at www.brycemagic.com. He does these big corporate events for everybody. If I had all the money in the world, I'd hire you, Bryce. So um, then I have richmondpunch.net. He graduated from the Juilliards. He's from Dallas, but I know he moved to Atlanta, but he travels all around the world. He's absolutely phenomenal of playing the violin. So he's played in front of 1 million people before. He's been on some Lifetime shows playing and stuff like that. So we welcome you sponsors into our happy home of hope and keeping love alive too. So, but definitely, I want to thank everybody. We're going to have more great shows coming up on Keep Hope Alive podcast. You can find this podcast wherever you find your podcasts. So, but remember, I do have a phone number. It's 833-780-HOPE. And you can call that number if you have any questions, and we'll give them to Beth and she can answer them. And maybe you have suggestions of games they should make. Maybe getting chased by the dinosaur would be fun. You get a real workout. Or but definitely you can call that number and find us at www.keephopealivepodcast.com. Thank you, everybody. It was so nice having you, Beth. And remember, if you want this fun experience, you got to go check her out. And it's what? Custer and Parker in the same shopping center as Walmart. So come and find them, book away, have fun, plan your kiddos' next birthday there, or have an adult party and go see her. So, well, thank you. Bye, guys. Until next time, love and light.